The villain wants everyone to feel what he's felt, while the hero wants no one to ever feel what he's felt. This simple quote defines what makes a character the hero or the villain. In a subjective world where immoral actions are acceptable or unforgivable depending on which side of the conflict you align with, the line that separates these characters becomes very blurry. What doesn't are the sacrifices a hero makes for what he believes, even when his body is deteriorating and coughing up blood with every breath. You'd never know it because he refuses to let the world see anything but hope. He isn't just an example of strength, he is the epitome of resilience. Now let's talk about why I believe All Might is superior to Superman. Unlike every other hero story, All Might starts at the end of his career. You never see him in his prime. And honestly, you don't have to. The aftermath of his transition into the world symbol of peace lingers all throughout the story, even when not shown. The world of My Hero Academia is one in which the majority of the population has a unique quirk. Some might be useful, but some not so much. This isn't much of a problem until the illegal drug called Trigger is introduced. This means any normal civilian has the power to pose a great threat anywhere around the world, no matter how weak their quirk may be. In a world where villains are created on a daily basis, something needs to change. There isn't a way of removing quirks from the public, and you will never know which civilians have malicious intentions to use their quirks at the expense of others. The solution of a young guy by the name of Toshinori Yagi is to create a symbol that discourages villains and inspires heroes, of a symbol who is willing to take on humanity's responsibilities and crushing pressure, all while reassuring those in need that they can count on him. You even feel this radiating from his very first appearance in the show. A young Izuku isn't fanboying over one of All Might's flashy fights. He is awestruck with his glistening smile that shines through the dark atmosphere as he rescues civilians in the rubble of a horrible disaster. Now we have Superman, the Man of Steel, the last son of Krypton, the blueprint for every superhero to come after. His story starts with a crash landing on Earth as a baby, raised by kind-hearted farmers in Kansas and gifted with godlike powers under the yellow sun. He's bulletproof, faster than light, stronger than anything alive, the unshakable moral compass, the symbol of truth, justice, and hope. But that's the problem. In most of his iterations, Superman's story is one of constancy. He rarely falters. He inspires, not through struggle, but through perfection. Superman is a god trying to fit in with humanity, while All Might is a human trying to become a god. Can they beat Superman though? Is he stronger than Superman? From Goku to Saitama to Kratos, basically any other overpowered character gets lined up against the big blue Boy Scout. In the zeitgeist of pop culture, Superman has become the proverbial wall for what your fictional character has to overcome in order to be deemed strong. He isn't just a superhero anymore, he's a benchmark, a walking power scale, and honestly, that kind of sucks. He was never supposed to be characterized by how hard he can punch. His story is about an incorruptible mind in a world of corruption trying to twist you. His story isn't interesting because he can lift the planet. He's interesting because he chooses not to rule it. Turning Superman into just the strongest guy flattens him out into a boring character. And when you reduce a character like that, you forget the whole point of what makes him human. Sure, Superman might be the gold standard in power, but it's the weight behind that power that really matters. That's exactly where someone like All Might shines. The overpowered character archetype has always been a thing, since the inception of superheroes. But nowadays, we've seen their popularity increasingly rise. Examples like Son Goku, Levi Ackerman, Avatar Aang, Escanor, Sonic the Hedgehog are some of the best examples. But what makes these characters work? Being incredibly overpowered has both pros and cons. One of the pros being, you can move the story at a much faster pace, but one of the cons being, you can remove the stakes of the story. A way in which these characters overcome this is by introducing certain weaknesses or events that hinder their abilities. For example, Levi Ackerman's injury during season 1 of Attack on Titan. When he was healthy, the story chugged forward thanks to his immense speed and skill. But when the story needed room to breathe, they sprained his ankle. He has the power to single-handedly defeat one of the biggest antagonists of the series without even breaking a sweat. If that wasn't enough, he even soloed Kenny's entire kill squad, which was equipped with gear specifically designed to exterminate humans. If he went uninjured during the duration of the entire series, it would have ended in season 2. Another example is Avatar Aang, a character with an overpowered ability that forces the antagonist to adapt and speed up their plans. Picture this, the most powerful nation in history is at the fingertips of the Fire Lord. but a bald little boy who possesses incredible power alters their paths throughout the entire series. Aang's avatar state is presumed to have the power to stop the Fire Lord right then and there, but it's an extreme risk without being able to properly defend himself outside of it, on top of the fact that dying in the avatar state would break the cycle. This is a believable handicap to his overpowered abilities that keeps the stakes high. Toshinori's scrawny form is a visual reminder of a losing battle with time, as his body slowly deteriorates with every second he spends as All Might. Now compare that very real and relatable weakness to being weakened by green rock. Easily the lamest cop-out in fiction. It doesn't feel like a part of the character at all, just a plot device to shape the story and control its pacing. The new Superman film elevates the use of kryptonite. It becomes a tool forged by Superman's own hands, touching on themes of hubris and responsibility, but it still serves a classic plot gimmick through and through. All Might, on the other hand, lives his weakness. It's not a tangible item, it's what's in his heart. That's what makes All Might's struggle more compelling, as it feels real and permanent, giving his sacrifice its true weight. Both of these characters are structured similarly, but executed in drastically different ways. Now let's look into Toshinori Yagi versus Clark Kent. Clark Kent has always been a persona, the bumbling reporter, the mild-mannered glasses-wearing nobody. It's Superman's way of blending in, a disguise that protects his identity, but it rarely adds depth to who he really is. It isn't Clark who inspires the world, it's Superman. But on the other hand, Toshinori's human form is not a disguise, it is his true self. Even with the insurmountable pressure on his shoulders to keep the world safe, he still finds it a priority to teach the next generation how to be greater than him. He knows his time is coming to an end, but he needs someone to replace him. This is why, to me, All Might is the most interesting superhero of all time. His character uses some of the best elements of my favorite superheroes and executes them perfectly. Examples are his ability to transform from vulnerable human into an indestructible giant like the Hulk. His relationship with Deku is reminiscent of that of Iron Man and Spider-Man. Even in the latest season, he becomes the Batman. Somehow, some way, they cram all that into just one character, and it turns out flawlessly. My hero is honestly just great at writing flawed heroes that shine above their flaws. All Might didn't just influence people, he defined an era. The entire structure of My Hero Academia's world, the very balance between hero and villain, relies on one man. And the moment he is forced to retire, the cracks explode open, villains rise, fear spreads, the system falls apart because the system was him. That's how deep his impact runs. All Might didn't just save people, he saved their hope for a better future. He was the reason they believed the world was still worth living. At the end of the day, both All Might and Superman are the embodiments of what a good all-around human should strive for, no matter if powerful or powerless. You don't need success or power to make a change. You have the opportunity to make someone smile every single day. All you need is the dedication to want to do it in the first place, not for public perception or for something in return, but because you know it's the right thing to do. Toshinori didn't want to help people because he became a hero. He became a hero because he wanted to help people and inspire them to do the same. And not only did he achieve his goals, but he inspired an entire generation to uphold his legacy. That isn't power, that's impact.
If I lose it all, slip and fall, will you laugh at me? If I lose it all,